Well, Sharon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. How about you, sister?
Excellent. Sharon, the Heart Lady, here for you all.
And Sharon Thompson. So, what do you have for us today? What day is today? You know, you always do your
That's
thing.
my national day. So I think this particular day, one of the things that's special about it is very fitting for our podcast. All right? Women's Equality Day. And it's been celebrated in the United States since on August 26th, since the 1920s.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
So, you know how we're going to transition into that.
Oh my goodness. When I tell you what we have lined up for you, it's amazing. It's amazing. Because we've got in the studio here this evening a very interesting gentleman. And let me tell you, this gentleman needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to try my best. So he's Pastor Kenneth Hansen Jr. He is the lead pastor of the Word of Life International Church of God in Tucker, Georgia. So Kenneth Hansen Jr. currently, it's right over here in Tucker, right down the road, as they say in Georgia. I don't know what that means. Down the road. Could be 50 miles away, but it's down the road. Well, let me just tell you this. He's a licensed minister with the Church of God denomination in Cleveland, Tennessee. In 2018, that was, and then subsequently ordained in 2019. So, in January of 2022, he assumed the role as lead pastor of the Word of Life International Church in Tucker. Pastor Hansen, so he's married with two amazing sons and a super beautiful, gorgeous queen.
Yep.
She is amazing.
That's right.
Okay, so his first lady is First Lady Nicole, and his sons Jeremiah and Justin. You reside in Metro Atlanta, it says. And look, without anything else, it says we are getting sort of geared up for something that's coming up. But before we touch that, because it's International Women's Day, I'm not stepping on your toe, but I want to find out what's your role as far, what do you feel? What's your feeling as far as women and the roles they play in the church?
Well, good evening. Thank you
Stepping on
for
those
stepping
toes.
right in. Thank you for having me this evening. The role of the women are very significant.
Yes.
When you look at the great men in the Bible and in the world today, they wouldn't have succeeded and done the things that they could have without great women to be right there to lead them. So, the role is significant, and men wouldn't be here today. As someone said, the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck. She makes things roll. She makes things happen. She gets things turning. And so I know I'm grateful for my queen, because as a lead pastor, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I have without her. And so I congratulate and salute you both for the roles that you play and the significance that you play in our society today.
That was a good answer, wasn't it?
Wow, I
Sharon?
love that. Yes,
He
but you
covered
know
all
what?
bases, didn't he?
Totally, he sure did. But you know what? Because I know her personally, you both are blessed. Because I
Yes,
mean,
we are.
you kind of tag team each other, and she is a sweetheart
Yeah,
of a first lady.
she is.
When I tell you she's amazing, and then your sons just fall in place. I mean, well, they
We
don't have a
try.
choice, do they?
We try.
Because
Yeah.
you're beautiful parents.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Sister Sharon, because I know you're going to go there too. Go ahead and with your questions, sis.
So let's start off with what role do you see your church playing in addressing social issues, and particularly in the Metro Atlanta area?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think that the church has a responsibility to address those social issues. Unfortunately, we kind of see what's going on in our world today. We see what's going on with our government, and just how the world is changing. And so it's important for the church not to be silent on those issues. When you look through the Bible, you saw prophets,
Yeah.
you saw priests, you saw leaders, and they addressed those social conditions that were happening.
Correct.
They addressed the kings, they addressed leaders, and they were very outspoken about it. So as a church with the social concerns, we try to make sure that we address those issues. Speaking of that, we just had a community chat just this past Saturday where we talked about mental health, resilience, and faith. So we believe that if we're going to minister to people, we have to minister holistically,
Oh, my word.
right? So that's mind, that's body, and that's spirit, right?
Absolutely.
And so we can't just show you how to fast and pray, but you have to understand that man is spiritual and man is natural.
Yeah.
So we have to see to those natural issues and those community pains that we experience. So we're big proponents of it, and we hope to make a difference.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned mental health, but poverty
Absolutely.
is something to really be addressed. And we see it all over in the metro Atlanta area.
Absolutely.
And so how do you help with poverty?
Well, we do operate a food pantry. We do it once a month, where we serve about, I believe it's 175 members in our community. And so we do that once a month, but we also make it available for individuals if they happen to call and say, hey, I don't have any food. We open up our pantry. We allow them to come in. And so in addition to providing resources, we also believe in educating, right? Educating individuals, because that helps to liberate them.
Yeah.
That helps them to make wise choices, and it gives them opportunities. Doors open up when we provide that information. So, people come and there's a need and we can help. That's what I believe the church is there to do, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's just one way that we assist with our community.
I like that. Yeah, I like that because you know what? I can attest to that because I've witnessed that myself. And continuing along those veins, it says there are other community involvement. And so we're community programs, counseling, education, outreach for the underserved groups. I know your church plays such an integral part in the community, but is there anything that we're missing where that is concerned? Global missions, for example, local community service. I mean, I know because again, I can attest to it because I know some of your folks, and we've got them right here in the studio, supporters like Chevenese and the Sharikas of the world. I mean, that support you wholeheartedly. Do you plan on going further out into the community? Because I know you bring the community to you. Yeah. Going out, doing more outreach.
Yeah. So
is there any plan for that?
Yeah. So one thing that's near and dear to my heart is schools and our children. I've been an educator for about 20 years now. So I see the need in our schools. One of the things that we want to do, we got our pantry started in 2022. And so one of the next things that we want to do is be able to go into the schools and just partner with administrators, teachers. It may be as simple as, hey, we want to feed the teachers. So we want to make sure they feel honored and celebrated. So we make them breakfast, maybe provide lunch. It may be able to make copies for teachers because they got so many things going on. So we want to make sure that we're able to do that for them. So I think I definitely want to get us into the schoolrooms and be able to do that. And then you also mentioned globally.
Yeah.
We are also believers in that. I know one thing that we do each year, we try to partner with either a church or an organization. My first year, we partnered with a church in St. Lucia. And so we were able to give them resources, kind of help them stay afloat with their mortgage their first year. So that way they can just focus on ministry and being able to help people. Our second year, we partnered with one of the bishops in our church. He is what is he called? He's a field director for Asia. And so he did a missionary work in the Philippines, and we were able to donate some money to feed them during a crusade. And so we were able to partner with him doing that. And just recently, there is a ministry in South Africa where they're feeding students because a lot of times students don't have anything to eat. And in this particular community, I believe the unemployment rate is about 83%. So a lot of times these students are going to school hungry. And so with this ministry, he provides them with breakfast. And he actually quit his job.
Really?
And he did this full time, and he's going into his 10th year.
Wow.
And so he's feeding them breakfast. He started an after-school program where he wants to be able to give them a second meal because, like I said, sometimes it's only one meal that they get, right?
Yeah, that's
so we want to be able to kind of assist with that. to help him prepare those meals in the afternoon for those students. And there's a direct correlation to just feeding the kids and them doing well in school, because he shared
absolutely.
how after he started feeding them, the attendance rate went up,
Of course.
the test rates went up, the passing rates has gone up double digits, just because someone cared and provided resources to an underprivileged community. So
Yeah, that is so important. Sharon, when I came in the studio, I was like, can't talk, I'm hungry, I gotta eat. And I was getting a little
can't
edgy there.
focus.
I was like,
Yeah.
I need to eat. And so, that sustenance,
right, absolutely.
it really is important
It
to
is. It
keep
really is.
focused and staying alert. So yeah, I appreciate that.
And believe it or not, we have that right here in America.
We do.
We're extending out to the rest of the world, but
Yeah.
a lot of folks that are here living in America
Yeah.
don't even understand what it is like to be, hungry.
Yeah.
But then there are people, we don't think it happens here in America. We're thinking we're exempt. But there's hunger. There are kids. And when I found that out, I spoke to a friend of mine, dear sweet friend, years ago, at a school near here. And I was talking to her, and she says, Sharon, there are children who don't want to go on vacation at all. They love school, and especially want to stay in school. Why? Because of the food
That's right.
program they have.
At least 2 meals a day.
At
Are
least
you kidding me?
breakfast.
I was like, no, and I was not aware of that.
And going back, I guess it was your point about
Wow.
social injustices. That's
Yes.
why, as ministers, as leaders, as faith leaders, we have to speak out
Yes.
against injustices. We've seen where our government took away some aid for after school and different programs.
Yeah.
And it's not like we can't afford to do it. We have the means, we have the resources. So we, as people of faith and people that just care, that are compassionate, have to be able to speak out, so that way we can make sure our tax dollars go to where we want it to go to assist our students. Because there's no reason in America, if we have the resources, that any student, any child goes hungry. Right?
Absolutely.
And there's no reason
Go
to take
hungry
away
or
those
not
funds.
Be able to read,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I think Word of Life has really earned the title of international.
International, yes.
We're working on it. We're
Thank
working
you
on
so
it.
Yes.
much for that.
Yeah.
And with that being said, being international, global, how important is technology, and how are you using that for evangelism and for further teaching?
It's extremely important. I think COVID kind of pushed everyone, whether or not you're ready or not, you just have to be prepared for it, because COVID kind of ushered us into that season. But we use things like Zoom, just like many organizations, churches, they use Zoom to be able to do Bible study. Like tonight, we have Bible study that's usually on Zoom. So we do have people from St. Lucia that join. We have people in other states that come on. Even with our church services, with YouTube, Facebook, leveraging those platforms, it opens up the world. I know that we say the world it's a small world, but it makes it even smaller through technology. So we use Zoom. We use the social media platforms,
Okay.
things like Google Meet, and various things to share the gospel
Yeah.
and to train and equip. We also have a discipleship course that we do, and we have lots of people from different states that are on. And so we give God thanks for the technology and the resources and the people that are able to kind of assist and help, because ministry doesn't just, it's not just one person.
That's right. That's right. And
Wow.
being that you're global and you're going into some of these countries where they can't get to hear the word that resonates with them, for you to be able to help support the organization so that they can come around and hear the word from you all.
Right.
So we definitely congratulate and
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you.
for that.
Of course, that's a great way to bring people together too, so they can,
Absolutely.
they're getting fed both ways.
Absolutely.
The Word of God,
Yeah.
and they're getting their bellies full
Yeah.
with food.
And that's
So
important.
that's important. So it
Didn't
goes
Jesus
hand in
do that?
hand.
What did he
Absolutely,
do? He
absolutely.
fed, a lot of times he saw the need and he said, let's feed them first, then give them the word, right?
it,
Because they're not listening and they're not going to be able to engage with you if they're hungry.
That's right.
course.
That's right.
So,
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, that breaks my heart, I'll be honest, because I'm a mush. And, when I think of not being able to eat, and like Sharon said, I mean, being hungry and thinking, I mean, you can't even function when you're hungry. Well, I know I can't function when I'm hungry like she couldn't.
You get hangry, like the
Yes.
Snickers commercial, right?
Yeah, that part. But, honestly, your youth, because I've been to your church quite a bit. Thanks to Sharika, shouting out Sharika again. That's
Shout
my
out
girl.
Sharika
Shout out
Nelson.
Sharika Nelson Hibbert.
Yeah.
And so, I've seen you do so many things. But speak to the folks and let them know a little bit about Word of Life and what you have got going on, because time is up on us and we want them to know, how do you engage your young adults, your youth and your young adults? How do you keep them engaged in ministry?
Well, first of all, we let them know that they are special. They're valuable. They have something to offer. We believe that everybody is a gift and has something that it can contribute to the body of Christ. So we try to love on our young people. We try to help them figure out what their gifts are, right? A lot of times people suffer because they don't know who they are. And so they're out there trying to figure it out, trying to find purpose. And so we try to help them find that purpose, identify some skills, some traits that they're really good at, and try to position them somewhere in the ministry to serve. Whether it's singing, whether it's helping out with the food pantry, whether it's playing an instrument, whether it's making phone calls because you are administratively inclined, we just try to partner them up with their gift. So we try to make room for them. We try to listen to them. We try to connect with them. We try to understand where they're coming from and give them a voice so that way they can be heard. I think a lot of youth and people in general are suffering because they don't have that person to talk to, or they feel that they don't have a voice that people, can kind of understand where they're coming from.
So, in the classrooms, cell phones, being on social media creates distraction.
It does.
And also the identity crisis. So how are you counselors dealing with those? Are you finding that the congregation is on their phone during the time
they're on their phone, but hopefully it's taking notes. Hopefully they're taking
so
notes.
we're assuming they're taking notes,
We're assuming
right?
they're taking their notes. They're on the Bible app, using the Bible,
Okay, but
reading their scripture.
Yeah, and the influences that they get. So I'm seeing that's a major concern for the youth and the disruption, the influence, and of course identity and the faith and that conflict that they may have.
Right.
So how are we,
How are we gonna
approaching that?
If you try to take a young person's phone away, it's like you're taking
their
their
whole
soul
world.
away. You're taking their world away.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you all are aware, but in the state of Georgia, they just passed a law.
Yes.
Yeah, we just
That's
had
going
a
to be
guest.
implemented next year, I believe.
Right.
K through 8,
Yeah.
they're not supposed to have their phones
And
during school
they did a
hours.
soft rollout, though, in certain districts, I
Yeah,
understand.
there's a soft rollout. In the district that I work, no students are allowed to have their phones, so that's K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fight, because
Who you getting the most fight from, the parents or the children?
both. The parents, that they'll be on social media saying, "You're not taking my kid's phone away," and this and that. So it seems like a losing battle, because you would think that the parents would understand that, hey, we want to make sure that we give your child the best education that they possibly can receive, because that's what's going to allow them to do great things in this world.
Yeah.
But you are having to fight the parents because they feel like, hey, I gave my child this $1,000 phone and I want them to be on it. And it's not that they don't have a good argument, because I think sometimes things do happen, and having a phone is good to capture that.
Yeah.
But then in most cases, students are on their phone in the classroom, they're distracted, they're listening to their music,
Right.
and doing other things. And so it's going to be a struggle, but really we just need to teach our young people the do's and don'ts, when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate.
Especially when it comes in
Because
into
phones
church.
are good, it's how you use it, just like anything
Church
else.
and school, I mean,
Yeah.
they better, Well, again, we've got a few minutes to go, and I know you've got a major event coming up, so I
Right.
need you to share with everybody what that event is and, how they can navigate and get involved.
Right. So the event is the Grow Conference 2025. We had, every year we do this conference. So last year, obviously, it was Grow 24. This year's Grow 25.
Oh.
And so basically, how it came about is my second year in the pastorate. every year I give my church a wristband. Like this year it says Take Courage 2025. So it's some theme or message to encourage them for the year. So in 2023, that message was simply grow. You know, anything that's living should be growing, right? And so God not only wants us to grow in our faith, but he wants us to grow, again, to the point I made earlier, holistically in all areas of our life. So you should be growing in your finances, growing in terms of your health and making sure that you're taking good care of yourself. And so we came up with the Grow Conference, and it's a conference in which we just share information to help people on that journey of growing. And so we have different topics. We bring in people that are specialists in their area, and we have topics such as health and wellness. So last year, our topic was movement is medicine. Just stressing the importance of you got to move every day, whether it's 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Just moving around is good medicine for your body. We had a nutritionist to come and talk about some do's and don'ts when it concerns your diet. So this year, we talked about focus with our young people. So we are having a segment that's called Faith, Focus, and Influence. And so we have a young minister that's also an educator that's going to come and speak about that. One of the things that I've noticed in our community is sometimes we may lack when it concerns estate planning, like wills and trust, and just leaving something aside for our children, our grandchildren, you know, and being able to pass resources down to them. So we have someone that's going to talk about estate planning. And so that topic is called Getting Your House in Order, right? Just making sure that you have some of the basics things that you can pass to your children and grandchildren. We're also having basic principles of the Bible, just talking about the Word of God. The Bible says that the Word is spirit and it's life. And so we want people to know the importance of knowing the Word of God. If David said, I hide it in my heart that I may not sin against him, the Word of God is pretty important, right? And so we have to be able to know the Word of God and know how to use it. Let the Word work in our lives.
That's right.
Yes.
And then we're going to also have the man in the mirror and the woman in the mirror. And it's that segment is actually called Looking at Ourselves Honestly and Growing in Christ. So being able to have that deep reflection, being able to wrestle with ourselves, looking in that mirror and saying, okay, these are the areas where I need to make some improvements if I'm going to continue to grow. And so we have two dynamic speakers that will come and talk about that as well. Wonderful. It's going to be a great conference. People are going to leave blessed. A lot of good information. And so I just want to invite everyone to come.
And by the way, tell them the best part, Pastor Hansen. Go ahead and tell the folks.
The best part is it is free, FREE, and we're going to feed you. We're going to give you a nice, good Caribbean meal, and you will like it. It's going to be great, and you're going to have a chance to network. You're going to have a chance to fellowship with other people. And did I mention it's free? And then you get some free food as well for lunch.
And what's the location? How do we get there for the free food?
How do you get there for the free food, the free information? It is at the church down the way, like you said, down the street, down the road in Tucker. It's at 4881 Lawrenceville Highway, Tucker, Georgia, 30084. You can also check us out on there it is right there. You can check us out on the website, WOLICOG.org. And you can register there as well.
Okay. And
it's
it
free.
starts at 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
No, it is 9 o'clock, 9 a.m.
Oh, there you go.
September 13th.
There it is,
Saturday.
9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.,
All right.
September 13th. But you put a plug in for church.
Yes.
So they can come to church Sundays at 11 a.m., same location, same website. There's the phone number.
Yes.
We would love to have everyone and everybody. Just come on.
And can I do a shameless plug? I was there last year. Again, shout out to Sharika. And let me tell you, I couldn't wait for this year because I was like, oh my God, when is it going to be?
Right.
But when she told me, I jumped on and I registered because it is so fulfilling. It's like feeding the soul.
Right.
Last year, I left that conference that day. I grew up.
That's right.
Because I learned so much by being there.
Purpose.
And
That's
let
the
me tell you,
purpose.
they had some powerhouses, heavy hitters in there. I mean, really amazing. People that we connect with in the
Yeah.
community. And I love that you do that.
Yeah.
You're not shy about bringing folks, professionals, and I'm talking about some top-notch professionals, okay?
Yeah.
As they say in Jamaica, no, what, pia, no,
Yeah, that's right.
no little dibby, but the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real deal. So
And we
free.
grow it every year. Every year we try to get
Yeah,
better.
and
So
I see you are putting the growth in it every year,
Absolutely.
looking and seeing
Right.
what does our community need.
absolutely,
Yes.
that's
right?
the point.
What does our community?
Correct.
How can I feed them?
That's
and
right.
How we can help them to continue to grow to go to the
Yes.
next level. So since
Absolutely.
we're talking about going to the next
Yes.
level,
Mm-hmm.
what do you hope is the legacy for Word of Life, and what do you hope to leave in your community for future
Right.
generations?
I think if we could be known as a church that saw people the way Christ saw people, if we can be a church that can connect with people, that cares about people, and that takes the time to coach or, if you will, correct. Because when you look at Jesus and the life that he lived, those are the three things he did. He connected with all people,
Yes.
so much so that the Pharisees said, hey, he likes to, hang out with sinners. And Jesus said,
He
I
didn't
don't
discriminate.
just hang out. Yeah, I just don't hang out with sinners. I eat with them. I hang out with them. I chase them down because they're valuable, right? And so we can be known as a church that connects, that talk about those matters that maybe are taboo and others don't want to talk about, and really be able to minister to the whole man, the whole woman. I think we've done a great job in leaving that legacy behind, because that's essentially what Christ did.
Yeah.
Yes. And how
and
do
definitely.
you how do you envision it though? I mean, passing on like leadership, the leadership baton onto the next generation of church leaders.
Right. Well, it starts with the youth, as you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Being able to bring them in,
Yes.
helping them find purpose,
Yes.
helping them find their gifts, being able to disciple them, because that's is essentially what we want to do. We want people to experience God. We want people to experience new life. We want them to experience a new community, a new family, and then experience empowerment, meaning that I've received all this, I've been discipled, now let me go and disciple somebody else. Because that's what Jesus did with his disciples for 3.5 years. And the 12 of them turned Christianity to over 1 billion adherents today. And it started with the 12 because he poured into them and he made them believe in themselves. So if we could do that with young people, we pass that baton, then we're in a good shape and we've left a good legacy.
So, as we are getting ready to transition, we again want to thank you, but I'd love for you to maybe share one of your favorite verses or one of your favorite stories, or a particular tip for our viewers.
All right. Well, one of my favorite verses is from Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. And it says, now unto him who can do exceeding and abundantly above all that you can think or you can imagine. So my thought would be, whatever you think you're able to accomplish, if you invite Christ to come into your life, if you let him in, not only will he give you purpose, not only will he give you identity, but everything that you may have envisioned for your life, he will amplify it, and he will cause you to do great and wonderful things for his community. So that small dream you have, if you invite Christ in, he'll make it so large and he'll blow your mind. So I always hold on to Ephesians 3:20. Everything that I shared with you about connecting and caring, God said, if you just trust me with your life, you trust me to lead you, I'm going to do far greater than what you can imagine.
Yeah. And also when they internalize and grow that way, they become even greater than they even expected.
That's right.
And so it was said that that they would do even greater things.
I was just about to say that. And they did. They weren't limited to a geographical area.
Yeah.
And because they held on to that belief and they trusted him, they did exactly what Ephesians 3:20 says. And they went on to do great things across the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right.
We thank you. We thank you, Pastor Hansen. Man, we're so thrilled. We're so blessed to have you,
Yes, and we look
you and your
forward
family
to
here.
your event.
Yes, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
And we wish you, your family, and
Yes.
your congregation the very best. And
yes.
again, thank them for spreading the word to
Absolutely.
help heal the mind, body,
Yes.
and spirit.
And thank them, because tonight is Bible studies,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yes.
And we have the senior pastor here with us. So this is what you do. You're doing your part while they're doing their part.
So we said leadership, right?
That's it,
And being
right?
able to pass that baton on to someone
Yes,
else.
I love it.
And so there
So
it
you're
is.
trusting them to lead the way while you're
100%.
over here leading another way.
That's correct.
This is what we're talking about.
Talking about
Absolutely.
We are so
All right,
excited.
then.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you for having
coming
me.
in.
Viva.
Our pleasure.
Speak harmony.
Thank you.
Yes.
City of Atlanta, it is your time to put a praise on it. I'm talking about none other than the Atlanta Bless 10th anniversary celebration. It's the all-white affair. And look here, you have to be there. I'll be your MC, Lady Wilson, and you can join me at the Shiloh High School on August 30, 2025. You don't want to miss this celebration. We're going to be having the likes of Jaron Nurse, Claudel Clark, Nanamus himself, Morgie, Stacey and Elevated Wilson, John Wayne Bailey, Sharon Mullin, Leon Roy, and many, many more. Of course, backed by the MP Band. Look here, with a dumb if me not talk and with a deaf if you not hear, Atlanta Bless is where you need to be on August 30. All roads lead to the Shiloh High School. See you there.
All right, so we're back again.
We are.
So Sharon, we're transitioning to our second part of our show, and we have another guest. And I think I'm going to introduce to him again. Did you know that it is Women's Equality Day? And the purpose of that is celebrating the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. Let us welcome House Representative
To be,
to be
Yes.
candidate.
We're going to speak it in.
All right, we're saying it already. Mr. Akbar Ali, welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, how are you today?
Good. Doing fantastic. How about y'all?
We're doing great.
Good to
We're doing
hear.
great. We're doing great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You look like you're 18 years old. How did you?
It'll help me when I turn 55.
It will. Trust me, it will. It's not an insult.
Right.
But, how did you get interested in politics at all? What made you come into policy making?
Just an introduction. As you said, my name is Akbar Ali. It's a pleasure to be here. Grateful for the opportunity. I am 21 years old, not 18.
Right there.
Yeah. But I am currently a candidate for State House 106 in Georgia because there's a special election going on this year. Yeah, I know it's an awkward timing, but every year there is never a year without an election. And I think first and foremost, that's something that people need to realize, that civic engagement doesn't stop just at the end of a presidential election.
Thank you for that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But beyond that, I am also the first vice chair of the local Democratic Party. So I'm in second in command of that. I was elected at 19, 20 years old to that. I was the youngest ever that was elected to that position. And if I do win in November, I will also be the youngest since 1960, give or take. Yeah. And before that, the journey that I went on, it all started where I was originally going to go into media and journalism, actually, in a space much like this one. Yeah. Because when I was younger, one of the ambitions I had was that I wanted to expose corruption. And and to just be I was always very civically minded. And that started ages ago, back in 2010, 2011, when my mosque was the site of an anti-Muslim hate movement that was against us. I mean, we were trying to practice our faith. We were just trying to expand our mosque as well. And unfortunately, there was a lot of bigotry that we were met with. Yeah. And it stopped when the community pulled together, especially the elders in my community. I'm very grateful to them. Yes. They pulled together and fought back against that. And it was also in collaboration with President Obama's Department of Justice. And they got involved and put a stop to it along with our community. And from that moment on, that sparked this idea that it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what race you are, what ethnicity, what anything.
Yeah.
You must be civically engaged
Yeah.
in a whole manner of ways. I mean, I started with journalism, but I talked with my state representative, my local leaders, and it started because I was inquiring about the film tax credit that we have in this state. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, so,
Wow.
so I'm very media-minded, if you can't tell. Yeah. But it started that way. And slowly but surely, if you are passionate about something,
Yeah.
and you can tell you're passionate because you enjoy doing the boring parts about it,
Yes.
yeah, then you know that's meant for you. And so I just slowly but surely got more involved in this, and I saw a real difference getting made. And so it kept going for me.
Wonderful.
So it's purpose, huh?
You know, a lot of people don't really understand what happens in their community, as for, not what happens, but how to get in touch and what does a House representative, what do they do? A lot of them don't know even what district they are and how do they find out what district they are. They don't know who's their congressperson and what does the congressperson do and these representatives. Can you educate us a little bit on that?
Absolutely. So take this for instance. I'm going to talk directly into the camera to the audience for this one. So you have your 3 branches of government. You know, we were all raised on that in elementary school, and the same principle exists from beginning to end. And what I mean by that is this. On the federal level, you have your president, you have your Congress, and you have your Supreme Court. Now, what's confusing is that when you say state representative, suddenly all that goes out of the window. When in reality, it is the same exact thing, just copy-pasted. So instead of a president, you have a governor of Georgia. Instead of Congress, you have the General Assembly. And instead of the Supreme Court on the federal level, you have a state Supreme Court. And they do the exact same thing, but just within Georgia. They write laws, they take votes on your behalf, and they are supposed to listen to your concerns and help you with anything regarding everything from your passport to your neighborhood needing a speed bump to anything in between. Yeah, that is the job of a state representative. And so in very, very simple terms.
I mean, you
So
did put it
essentially,
simple.
yeah,
Yeah,
essentially
you
it's
broke
very,
it down.
all the way
I think
down.
Very easy.
Of course,
You know,
make it palatable, though.
That's
'cause, you know,
right.
Most people are like, what? So now,
Yeah, we
there
understand.
you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't blame that for it. I mean, one of the things that I want to focus on in this is just education, especially when it comes to schools.
Yeah.
I mean, within the area, within Gwinnett County where we are right now, many people move in here for our public schools.
Yeah.
And when they are under attack with taking taxpayer money and giving it to private schools, or when they are taking things out of the curriculum that are necessary, like civics and
Yes.
how our government it works,
Yeah.
then that's something that I believe needs to be defended.
Yeah.
And that's your other job as a state representative. It's to stand up for the issues that your community needs,
Yeah.
both in the legislature, but also within the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot because you know what? Like you said, the president is there. Congress is over here.
Yes.
But how many of us can reach the president or Congress? So we need local representatives to be able to speak to. When we go to town hall meetings, when we go to those local meetings, because we elect them. But, you know, honestly, a lot of us, most people, I would say, or I dare to say it, that most or majority of us don't have a clue because we vote in a presidential election, but as far as the local elections, we know nothing about it. The average person you speak to, and when you say, hey, elections next Tuesday, and they're like, what? Election? I thought I was in November. We're like, no, the most critical elections are our local
your
elections.
local.
Address that because you did. And this is what the education piece of it is. And we cannot afford to let that go away. We have to continuously, it's a cycle and it's continuous. We have to keep educating people. So you grew up in Gwinnett. Tell me when, I'm going to speak it into existence, but when you get elected in November, now, how's that going to shape your vision really for the community? Because I met you in the community. And let me tell you, this young man's no joke. And they're a whole lot like him. No, I'm so serious. I'm so impressed by our youth because the Bible says the youth will lead the way. They will show the way. And if we are going to hold the blueprints to our chest, we're going to hold those cards to our chest and not share it with you guys and not learn from you, not listen to you. I mean, we just had a pastor right here who, let me tell you, he's not ashamed and afraid to share with the youth, teach the youth, because that's what we're supposed to have, an open book. Now, you're a youth, and I'm so blown away the fact that you're doing what you're doing. And so it's for us, it's incumbent on us as the more seasoned, because we're not old, we're the more seasoned of the group, to push you forward and step behind you and say, you know what, I'm here to catch you. I'm not here to criticize you, but I'm here to help you. And we work together and educate our communities. So we build better and stronger communities. Am I correct?
Yep.
So now, speak to that about your vision for community, kind of sort of where you see yourself when you're elected.
One of the first things I want to say is that I do really stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, I'm only here because of the path was laid here before me. One of the key things that drove me down this path that I was going to mention earlier was that this is a special election because the current state representative has retired. Yeah, she has to deal with her familial health, and so our prayers are with her, of course. And she served as my mentor for the past 2-3 years. And she has chosen to fully endorse me for this seat with her full public endorsement, full public support. And that was instrumental, not only in me getting here, but also in me having this experience and this wisdom. And because it came from others, you know, I've learned it from someone. It was not innate, you know, just as many things aren't. And so just starting off, you know, I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I'm very grateful for that. But extending to the vision of community, one of the things that I'm going to say is that I'm going to talk again to the camera for this one, but we as the Democratic Party, I feel that we forgot how to talk to the community in the first place. We used to be so good at this. Like, just speaking candidly, this used to be our thing, where we would go to every minority community, every community center, churches, synagogues, mosques, recreation centers, the skate park, everything. And we would go there and we would talk about our message and communicate with people and make that connection. And so firstly, the community vision that I see centers exactly on that. In fact, I'm not even going to say that's something I will do. It's because it's something I have done. First day of my campaign, I went to every single minority business within State House 106, around 50, 55 of them. And many of these places don't have clientele outside of their ethnicity, much less anyone from the government supporting them or even in contact with them. And so what I did is that I went with me, my campaign manager, and my friend who can translate Spanish for me. Yeah.
I love it.
And we went to every single location and just asked them one single question. I have my platform. I presented that to you, and I'm going to run on that. However, what would you also like to see in this? And how can we best support you for that? And when I said that we forgot how to do this, I really mean it, because the amount of responses that I got where the last, one business owner told me in particular, he said, the last time someone did this was when President Obama was in office. Yeah. Over a decade ago. Which is insane to think about. And so now, firstly, the vision centers on bridging the gaps between these communities, because we are so isolated in silos, especially minority community to minority community, right? Like, the Korean community does not want to talk to the Muslim community. The Muslim community does not want to talk to the black community. And nobody wants to talk to the Hispanic community. And it's, how do we band together and become a quilt that's big enough to carry all of us if we're still just patches of cloth, is the way that I would put it.
That is beautifully put. Yes.
I like that.
I just want a little clarity for those because we are about educating, and I see that you're very much into educating. The District 106, can you give us some boundaries? What does that? Because
Yes.
remember I said earlier, people, I don't know what district I'm in.
Of course,
So
of course.
what area does that you cover?
Yeah.
One thing I will say is the actual map of the district
Yes.
and a link to find out if you live within it
Yes.
or what district you live in general is
Yes.
always going to be on my website, and it currently is on that. I will plug that in at the end of this, of course,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
But this district, State House 106, is within Metro Atlanta, specifically Central Gwinnett County. The way that they drew this, it extends from Ronald Reagan Road or Ronald Reagan Parkway,
Parkway,
yeah, and goes along Highway 29, so along Lawrenceville Highway, down to downtown Lawrenceville. And then, now this is the confusing part, stick with me here, it will hook down Scenic Highway all the way down to the presidential markets in Snellville. Yeah. And so you may have noticed, why is it such a weird shape? And that is partly because of efforts to dilute power, to
Gerrymandering.
to just prevent any sort of accurate representation from happening.
Yeah.
Because this district is remarkable, and it is very special in the fact that it is the most diverse state house district within the entirety of Georgia,
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
with a population of 30% Caucasian, 26% Black, 25% Hispanic, and 18% Asian.
Wow.
Yes.
Very diverse.
However,
Very diverse.
however, the point that I'm trying to make here is that not every district is this beautiful. Yeah. And you will see areas that are just along a highway, and they call that a district. Or this one state senate district that extends from Buckhead in Atlanta all the way down to South Fulton.
Are you
In
kidding?
just what? No. This is an actual. In fact, there are two districts that are like that within our state senate that extend all the way from the more wealthier part of Atlanta, all the way down to the part that doesn't get any investment. Now, tell me, what do those areas have in common, and how do you get
Nothing.
accurate representation
Yeah.
that can represent all parts of that?
Right. And how do you ensure equity and inclusion? Do you have a plan around that?
Yes. So the approach that we need to take here, in my opinion, is multi-pronged. You get equity in the basic foundations of our community, being within the education space, being within the housing space, being within the basic building blocks that it takes to live with dignity, to live with honor. You start there. That is where the first dominoes fall. Now, admittedly, we are, as a Democratic Party, we are in the minority within this state. And so chiefly the work needs to be done to get us into the majority to actually enact this agenda.
Yeah.
Because we value equity, we value justice, and we value that honor and dignity and the ability for people to live like that, right? But one of the things that beyond just the foundations, being in equity in education and housing, as I said, is furthermore is to really get into the weeds here. Because one of the things that people don't necessarily talk about is these neighborhood issues. Like, yes, we are in a bad place at a very bad time under this administration. There is no recourse about that. Like, that is just the truth that I see and that my community sees. However, on the local level, again, you can't reach the president on your direct phone line, right? But you can reach your local representative to talk about things like HOA reform, which I've seen too many people incur debt, too many people nearly get evicted, and disproportionately people of color being affected by that. But issues like that, issues like just simply reducing traffic, that is one. Putting
up stoplights,
Yes.
Right, putting up stoplights
instead of waiting for someone to have it.
Right.
Injury
Or speed bumps within a neighborhood in order to prevent kids from being run over.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, issues of that sort contribute towards equity, in my opinion.
Well, yes, that's a very awesome topic right here. But we're going to switch gears a little bit because in the interest of time, housing affordability, that's a major concern in our community, in our county, in our state, in our country, in the world. But how do you plan to address that issue? Because it is an issue. Clearly.
So back to the camera. Directly
Tell he's in media.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Listen, that's that minor in public relations showing through. So, one thing that I want people to note down is that within Gwinnett County, the average price of a house, of a single family home, was $200,000 within 2020 and 2022. Okay, that is already pretty unaffordable for the younger generation, new families, and if you're just looking to buy a new house within a good area. Again, to be after those good schools that we had.
Yeah.
In 2025, the average home price in Gwinnett County is $450,000. That markup has happened solely because of investor-owned housing, artificially inflating prices, and lack of diverse supply. That one keyly. When I say lack of supply, I don't mean lack of supply as in there just isn't enough housing. It's like a diverse supply. The Gwinnett County has a plan that they had a study committee on, making exactly what type of housing our county needs to lower prices. And that has simply not been followed, to my opinion, because we see a lot of construction of luxury apartments, townhomes, space not being used efficiently, in my opinion.
And it's probably deliberate, isn't it?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that.
But I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to build houses that people can't afford, the average person can't afford, then what are you saying?
Again, I simply don't have enough information to confirm that. But extending further, that's only
Politician in the making.
Oh yeah.
I've been taught well. So one of the things that but that is only one part of this multi-pronged approach, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other ones being investor-owned housing. In fact, around 30% of the housing in Gwinnett is investor-owned.
Yeah.
And so when prices are inflated, you cannot be surprised why.
Of course not.
However, there are steps being taken towards this, such as a bipartisan bill earlier this year that banned overseas investors from owning property in Georgia without having a point of contact that people can actually reach for repairs, maintenance, just direct communication. Because what many citizens would find was that this house that they're trying to buy would be dilapidated or would be in ruin.
Right.
But the person that they would call up in the company would be within East Asia. And so the time zone difference would be there, or the lack of communication would be there, right? And so a bill was or is in the process of passing that would ensure that a line of communication would be there in order to buy as a foreign investor. But measures like that are how we go towards lowering house prices. Yes.
You mentioned bipartisan. So what's your approach in working with the Republicans to pass meaningful legislation?
My approach is this. In our state legislature and in many state legislatures across the country, what happens often is that it's not like the federal where people grandstand and people say there, I'm like, no, I'm not passing my bill if, I don't have, no. In the state legislature, what often happens, especially if you're in the minority party, like the Democrats are in Georgia, where we don't have Democratic control of the Senate, we don't have Democratic control of the House, we don't have Democratic control of the governorship. What happens is that a Democrat may introduce a bill, a good bill, mind you. But the Republicans, what they will do is that they would take that bill, kill it, take the language from that, rewrite a new bill, and give it to a Republican.
Wow.
Yes, they will actually steal a bill. So that happens extremely often.
I can imagine.
But one of the things that I set out and think is that if that were to happen to me, but it results in that bill passing, my ego is not above the greater good. It never will be, and it never should be.
I like that.
Right? And so if a bill that lowers house prices were to be presented in front of me, and it is a stolen bill from me, of course it would hurt, right? I'm not saying it won't. But again, my ego is not bigger than actually helping your citizens and your constituents.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's good to
Yes.
know because, honestly, and yes, I'm going to speak into the camera because I'm going to say it, with politicians in general, or, creatives or whatever, I kind of find them eclectic for the most part. Not all politicians, I'm just saying. But they have that big old fat ego. And who cares about ego when people are suffering, when their needs to be met? So egos should go out the window when it comes to taking care of people who put you in office, because you didn't vote yourself in there.
Yeah.
Right.
We the people did that. And so as it stands right now, I mean, Gwinnett County, because that's where you're running, that's your concentration right there. What would you do to increase like civic engagement, say in District 106, when you're elected? I'm going to keep speaking it. When you're elected, what are some of the things that you would do? Because right now, a lot of people are feeling very disconnected, and especially with the current circus that we're dealing with. I'm just going to call it for what it is, because honestly, we have a lot of clown acts all around us right now. A lot of picking and nitpicking and just craziness. Nothing that makes sense. Where America, when the world looks at America, they're looking and they're going, what is going on? Are they for real? Or is it just clowns that they're producing over there? Because we used to be the example for the entire world, the entire globe. Everyone at some point a few years ago wanted to be like the Americans. Now they're like, don't come to our country. We don't want to see you. If you have an American passport, you hide it.
Right.
Because you're embarrassed to be American. Talk to me a little bit about that, about civic engagement. Yes, I strayed a little bit, but I'm coming back to center. Civic engagement. Bring people back to center as far as the world and the respect that America needs to regain, because they've lost respect for us.
One of the things that I very much subscribe to and I fully believe is that the strength of America is in its community clubs and community organizations, first and foremost. It escapes my mind who exactly wrote that, but from what I remember, there was a European philosopher that came over to America around 1900s, 1800s. And he wrote that America's strength is with its community organizations, first and foremost. One of the things that I see within this modern era is that these are in such decline. And these can extend from churches, religious organizations, to, again, like the local group of friends that you just play games with, like any sort of community organization that are there. Because these are waning, we see a decrease in civic engagement. Because you notice when turnout is high historically, that's because community leaders like pastors or even like community organizers are the ones saying to their community, we need to go out, we need to vote on our interests, right? But now you see a decline in membership, in engagement, in just community presence. And so first and foremost, that's the thing that is on my mind. One, there's a lot that I can do. Yes, there is, right? Like I can meet people where they're at, as I have. I can go to where they are. I can have these conversations, but I am only one man. And what I can also do is help establish these groups, like just as what I did when I was younger 2 years ago. Me and a group of friends reestablished the Gwinnett County Young Democrats, which was inactive for a while. But once we restarted that, membership started growing. Now we have several young people, including myself, being able to run for office. And so if you want to see civic engagement, I think that is your chief tool that you can do this through.
Right.
And I know Sharon, I mean, Dr. Ree here has another question. We only got 2 minutes left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'd love to just
Oh
ask
my God, yes.
two questions.
Yes.
The first question is, let's see, which order do I want to watch? No, I'll ask this question first. We talked a lot about youth and youth development, and I really am impressed how you say you stand on the shoulders of your elders.
Yes.
What are we doing to help the elder community? Because people talk about the youth, and the youth is the future, but the reality is that the elders right now have
Are declining,
outnumbered.
of course.
Yeah, they have outnumbered the youth, and we don't speak too much about the elders. So how do you get the elders to, can you just speak to that, to get respect, or
Yes.
to be able to help support, because you had mentors?
Yes.
And so talk to us a little bit about that, and then I have one last question to end.
So apart from policy, like we're talking property tax relief, defending Medicaid and Medicare, and other safety nets of that sort that are key to our senior population, other than policy. One of the things that I personally believe is that respect and seeing them as a source of guidance is something that is a belief that needs to be spread. Again, that is how I got here.
Yeah.
That is how I hopefully will win in November, knock on wood, right? And their support meant the world to me, and I think that they have a lot to offer the younger generation as well, because at the end of the day, this is symbiotic. And I think people miss that, right? I'm not just saying that like, oh, the young people don't listen, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also saying that oftentimes the senior population does not build us up either. And I think getting that dynamic that was present in previous generations
Yes.
is so key, right?
Yeah.
The same way that parents build up their children and their children give back to their parents when they're older, it is the same situation here. It should be the same cycle.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Very well answered. And so the last question is, what would be, if you had one major policy accomplishment, what would that look like?
One major policy accomplishment. So I will stick within the state of Georgia, right? Just because of its relevance.
Yes.
But I would personally choose an advocacy for mental health as that. Not only because the previous mentor of mine is State Rep Shelley Hutchinson, who is retiring. She was the only professional or mental health professional within the State House. And so her retiring, we are suffering a great loss. And so offering big support to mental health facilities and just mental health avenues, not only for our younger population, but also for our parents, our teachers, our seniors, and just because it is universal.
Yeah.
This is something that I think that I think everyone can get behind, and I think will be a public good. Because when you see investments in mental health, you see a decline in things like school shootings or suicides or other very unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's
Thank
ended
you.
now. So you're going to look in that camera and tell the folks how they could reach you.
Yep.
I mean, again, just one last time.
Right. So, as I said, my name is Akbar Ali, and I am running to be your next state representative for District 106 in Georgia this year in November. And so, first and foremost, Election Day is most likely going to be November 4th of this year. Okay? Got that noted down? Yep. Next, my personal number, because I am all about accessibility, is 470-353-2016. Now, that number is not a robo number. It is a campaign number because, again, I have to think of safety, right? But it is not a robo number. That is this phone in my back pocket. And third, my website is for Akbar Ali, FORAKBARALI.com. On that, you will see platform, endorsements, contact forums, events, for everything that you will ever need, including a district map, as I said earlier, is all going to be on that website. Yep.
all right. Well, thank you. I
you
want to
so
stand
much.
up and
Yes,
cheer. So
yes,
articulate.
yes.
Gave
Thank
us
you.
a lot
Thank
of
you.
food for thought, educated us. We are happy to send the baton to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
To pass the baton to you and to help you shape not just Gwinnett County,
Yes,
the whole
but the
state
world.
of Georgia
The world
and the
at
world
large.
at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for-
Thank you.
Thank you. What a way to end today. Wow. We could just go on and on and on and
I'm
on.
so glad that the women got the right to vote. Hey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But this handsome young man and a lot of women.
Oh, you flatter me.
Thank you
Love
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Meetings of the mind, where wisdom is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path Justice meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together